Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Coffee Break, and welcome back to the CoffeeCast Procast Edition. Game number 2 between SKMC, who is up 1-0, spawning on the top right-hand side on Daybreak, and his opponent falling 0-1 after failed one base all in, after failed one base all in, after failed one base all in. On the lower left-hand side, it is going to be the red Protoss player. It is Grubby. So a PvP from the IEM, I believe it is a best of 3 series. So I can't actually confirm that. I lurked all over the place. I looked all over the place, and all I managed to do was get a spoiler for one of the games. So I can't tell if it's a best of 3 or a best of 5 or whatnot. Also, I don't know why, but XSplit on my left-hand screen. I'm trying to monitor resources right now. Try to, pinpoint the lag a little bit more. I'm like 99% certain I already know where it is, but I just kind of want to double check. And XSplit is literally like blinking and flashing like a madman over there, and it's driving me absolutely insane. I don't know why it's doing it actually, but I checked. I started one recording and it was doing it, so I stopped it and checked to make sure it wasn't showing up in the recording. So as far as I can tell, you guys can't see it, and it's just going to give me an epileptic seizure. But other than that, I guess if it's not going to bother you guys, it won't bother me all that much. So actually, you know what? I'm just going to like minimize it. There we go. There we go. No problems now. Now I can't randomly see it flashing. Now I can just see red and blue blinking lights from my tuning utility tool that I'm using to monitor all my resources. That was actually probably the cause of that. So yeah, I think it's my video card, by the way, because I have a 1.5 gig video card, which 1.5 gig video card, and was that a gas steal? Wow, that is something I haven't seen in a long time. That is something I haven't seen in a really long time. That used to be used to force players into doing a 4-gate. Grubby probably just going to do some sort of either late gas or maybe some sort of earlier expand. A lot of players, when that happens, a lot of players just don't 4-gate anymore like they used to, because you just can't really. I mean, 4-gate's been nerfed to all hell. The only time you can really 4-gate is there is a 4-gate pressure expand. That's kind of not used all that much. Or if your opponent goes like a ballsy 17 Nexus, then it's like, well, now you're just asking for the most aggressive build possible out of Protoss players. So it looks like, oh, did he just go in there and take gas? He just went in there and took gas, and apparently he had minerals in his mouth. So apparently that means that he can actually go back and forth and steal minerals, then gas, then minerals, then gas all freaking day long and be just fine. Grubby pumping out a very fast 3 zealots. 3 zealots. That's a lot of zealots very, very quickly. Might be trying to save up that gas to be able to get something once he can finally get this probe out. And yeah, there we go. Taking minerals again, taking gas again. And he's going to be able to get out with one more trip there. Might try to get one more batch of minerals. And oh my goodness, throwing the assimilator down again, blocking that assimilator for so long. That's actually extremely painful on Grubby's side of things. MC going up to 3 gateways again, probably going to do that same build that we saw last game, the 3 gateway expand in, oh yeah, I mean 3 gate pressure into expand is kind of what I was trying to say there. Thankfully for Grubby, he did get that robotics facility down again, so we're going to be having the 1-gate robo again out of Grubby, but this time just very, very delayed, which is going to be kind of problematic, because the one thing that saved him the most last game was the fact that he was able to get that Immortal out, which pushed back the Stalkers of MC. So you're going to need to be, oh man, Grubby, you are feeling a little bit gutsy today, throwing down the Nexus after having his gas blocked for so long. I love the decision making, but the fact of the matter is he has very little scouting over into MC's base, so he doesn't know what's going on. In the meantime, MC actually has a pylon down in the back of Grubby's base. Grubby going to need to be very, very careful here, or else he could find himself in a lot of pain. Grubby does know, of course, these 2 Stalkers are here now. They know that well, he knows that. Let's try this one. Grubby knows that MC knows that Grubby is expanding. There we go. He knows that she knows that I said this, whatever. Anyway, so Grubby going to be in actually quite a bit of trouble, as there are 6 Stalkers barreling in his expansion right now, and Immortal just now getting started. This expansion is going to have to be canceled. There's no way around that, which is just kind of a painfully and annoyingly experience for Grubby, really. But that does hold MC off from really trying to do any sort of big pressure anytime soon. They did buy Grubby a little bit extra time because MC was focusing on that Nexus rather than trying to run up the ramp. However, on Grubby's side of things, he does have these 2 sentries here to be able to force field off the ramp for quite some time. He does have quite a bit of force fielding capability saved up. MC going to be expanded behind this, just like we saw last game, and as is per this build, I suppose I should say. And now it looks like MC just going to be setting up the expansion, the containment once again with this one sentry down here. Going to be able to force field off the ramp. If Grubby does try to move down, he force fields that, warps in another sentry, walks it over, and gets ready to force field again. MC is actually going for a Stargate in the back of his base here, so going to be going into Phoenix play, which Grubby really not going to be able to have much of an answer for. I mean, he's going up to another gateway, but without Blink, Stalkers really actually aren't all that good versus Phoenixes. And without cannons, I suppose, he really doesn't have any defense. With a High Templar, he has no defense, but is going to be getting this Warp Prism on the field. And back home, MC pretty much has nothing there to defend. Oh, actually getting pretty good positioning up on these Stalkers, force fielding 2 away, and now, oh my goodness, MC is going to lose so much here, as he has no answer to these 2 Immortals. In fact, Grubby even splitting his army very nicely. However, not going to be able to catch up to these 2 Immortals moving north. But Grubby also has a Warp Prism on the field now, so he's going to be able to do a double Warp Prism drop should he so desire. Oh, Grubby barely missing the ability to take out 1 Stalker there. This Warp Prism going to be able to actually do quite a bit of damage. Now MC does have a Phoenix and more Phoenixes coming onto the field very shortly, which will help counter that Warp Prism. But is it going to be enough? Will he be able to kill it fast enough? Because the Warp Prism is not counted as a light unit. In fact, I think it's armored. Yes, it is armored. So these Phoenixes only going to be able to take it out so quickly here. And if that's defended by a couple of Stalkers, this could do massive amounts of damage. 1 sentry is going to go down there. Not even going to bother trying to pick up the Immortal to target that down at all, because he just knows. I mean, all he could really do is a little bit of damage to the shields. Grubby going to be having to, MC going to have to use these Phoenixes somewhat defensively here. Can't fly across the map with those. Did manage to pick off 1 more Stalker there, Grubby did. So that's going to be pretty much every little engagement is going to be a big victory from Warp Prism now in the main base. Warping in so many Zealots. I actually don't know if MC saw this Warp Prism earlier on there. Now going to be having to pull his Phoenixes back to try to deal with that. Picking up the Zealots actually to get a flank on top of these Zealots. Warp Prism desperately trying to get out. I think MC has just enough to defend against this, but a lot of Zealots did go down there. In the meantime, Grubby now pushing in to the natural expansion. 2 Immortals on the field. A couple of sentries still remain as well, so he can actually force field off this ramp if he so desires. No reinforcement capabilities for Grubby though, as once again that Warp Prism is now dead. Ooh, getting a nice Zealot kill right there. That's all he needs to do is pick off a unit here, pick off a unit there. Going to be picking off these sentries is what MC is going to be doing. But is it going to be enough? That natural expansion does fall, so the game field has now been evened up. In the meantime, Grubby actually does have his own Nexus back on the field now, and that means that he is going to be going into a good position for the mid game. Phoenix is just randomly kind of flying around now. It almost looks like MC doesn't know exactly what he wants to do with this, as he keeps flying them kind of back and forth and maybe trying to stall a little bit, like he's going to be going into his opponent's base. That's not what he can really do, as Grubby, as we can see, can just warp in a couple Stalkers. Does have the Twilight on the field right now to start getting Blink. I think he does, or maybe that was MC. I don't know. I thought Twilight Council in the production tab, but more exciting things were going on, so whatever. Let's see here. Okay. There it is. There it is. So Twilight is on the field, but once again, no Templar Archive to counter the Phoenix, and also no Blink coming on the field quite yet. Grubby needs to make sure to get on top of getting that. There we go. Blink now starting up. Nexus now starting up again for MC, and once again the playing field has been kind of evened out in that right. Grubby was pretty far behind earlier, but now is actually at about a 1,500 resource advantage in that unit's loss tab. Spending wise, we can see both players spent about the same amount so far in this game. As once again, mining time has been delayed very severely on both sides. A couple of Stalkers are in the main base right now to be able to help defend against these Phoenixes, but there are quite a few Phoenixes there. Really, these 2 Stalkers are like a stall, kind of like a stall timer there. You just kind of need to stall until the rest of your reinforcements can get into position. Quite a few Stalkers on the field actually for Grubby. MC not going to be able to find that good of an engagement angle no matter where he goes. And Blink about, I don't know, 2/3 of the way finished, Grubby going to be going into a very good position, kind of going into now what we can consider the mid-game, starting up at about the 13-minute mark. Welcome to PvP, folks. The observer for Grubby is desperately trying to fly up to the corner. MC actually flying all the way back home with his Phoenixes to be able to deal with that. But that means that he does not know that this army is going to be moving out across the middle of the map. And this time, Grubby, he's not going to be dealing with going all the way around. He's just going to break down the rocks right in the center. He's going to break down the rocks right in the center of the map there, and going to be rapidly marching in to MC's base. MC's Phoenixes go, hey, let's go back to Grubby's. Holy crap! And immediately turn around. Grubby even breaking down the rocks. Grubby actually has a massive army right now. 54 to 49. Oh, okay, actually, I guess it's not that much bigger than his opponents. It is going to be 58 to 51. But his economy back home is also much stronger. So even if he does lose this engagement, going to be in a very good position. Already getting ready for the flank. They're going to be moving up into that natural expansion. No force fields going down. Not even going to bother. Going to be blinking up on top of these immortals. One immortal goes down immediately. Phoenix is coming in, picking up a lot of stalkers. Is it going to be the advantage MC needs, though? It is going to help out, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Grubby barreling into the natural expansion. So many more units than MC. These two immortals dishing out a massive amount of punishment. 6 kills total on one immortal there. Going to be doing a little bit of Blink Micro to save those stalkers. But in the meantime, a little bit more of a flank coming in from Grubby. He's going to be pincerring the last of the units of MC. MC's army has now fallen. Just a couple of Phoenixers remaining. And the GG from SKMC. We will be going on to a game number 3 in this best of 3 series. What an exciting finish to this game that we had there. Grubby just getting a beautiful flanking position and able just to take out his opponent there in pretty much a very convincing fashion, kind of like game 1 was for MC. I mean, look at all of this army that is left over for Grubby here. Now, okay, I'm going to go ahead and try something. I want to pull it back a little bit to when that engagement began here. I'm gonna try to use that whiteboard thing because you know what? Gosh dang it, I want to use it. So we're just gonna fast forward here. Phoenix just see it. And now we can see, whoop, that's the wrong button. We can see here. Okay, there we go, right there. Okay, bear with me here while I play with this. Oh my gosh, XSplit, stop freaking out. Stop, you know what, I've seen what I need to see here. Kill that, and that's probably going to stop. There we go. So we can see here. What color do I have right now? White, let's change it to yellow. So we have, we have Grubby's army coming in from this bottom side. He has a couple of zealots and a few stalkers here. Just a small force, but we do have one immortal right here. So these zealots are actually going to be probably going over to target fire this immortal here. In the meantime, the main portion of Grubby's forces coming in from the main ramp here after he broke down those rocks, which allows him to get a much larger surface area to get his, pretty much just his massive army into position here. Oh no, I moved the screen. Oh, I hadn't even thought about how terrible that could be. There we go. So these units are just going to be coming barreling down the front here, and we're immediately going to see a massive blink from these stalkers up onto this immortal here. There we go. Stalkers blinking in. Yeah, okay, right there. Stalkers blunk in. I don't know what the past tense for blink. Stalkers from the bottom blink in, and probably should have target fired this immortal, but instead decided to move in further to come on top of this immortal. I think he just had all of his stalkers on one hotkey or something. In the meantime, the stalkers from the main area are going to be jumping in right on top of that immortal as well. This immortal is going to fall so quickly here. We can see, and right there within just a few game seconds, it has already gone down. And that's just going to be pretty much it for MC right there. If we look over at the units tab, he no longer has the immortal advantage. He doesn't even have close to the number of stalkers. And, I mean, he has a couple of extra zealots, but when you have an additional 17 stalkers over your opponent, just not going to be that big of a deal. Okay, there was a little bit of an experiment with that. Maybe I should have had a better idea of what was going on before I started doing a bunch of circles. I kind of got carried away with the circles. Whatever. The point still is, I'm going to be playing with that and having fun. I'm going to go on to game number 3 of this best of 3 series from the IEM. Stick around, folks. It's been good so far. Let's find out who wins the next game in the ace match. This is Coffee Break, signing out.